Hi, this is Marquise Woodson from Math 124, Math for the Liberal Arts Student. The topic that I chose to report on for the video report number one is logical fallacies. What is a fallacy? A fallacy, according to the book, is defined as an error in reasoning that leads to an invalid argument. I also did a Google search. The Google definition of fallacy is a mistaken belief, especially one based on an unsound argument. The logical definition for a fallacy is a failure in reasoning that renders an argument to be invalid. I chose logical fallacies because that part of the book is a part that I really enjoyed doing. I learned it quite easily and it just stuck to me, and it was just something that was very interesting to me, and it made me think about certain things, about logic, about how to reason, how to make a um, a sound judgment on a statement or a piece of writing, and then I just enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. So the main idea behind logical fallacies is the ability to be able to recognize them in either your own or someone else's writing or statement. In regards to math, being able to recognize fallacies gives you the ability to make logical decisions when faced with a potentially complex problem. So basically, the main idea behind a fallacy is you can look at a statement and be able to tell if the statement is true or if the statement is not necessarily false, but if the statement is true. So, the challenging aspect of a logical fallacy is that they are fake or deceptive arguments, and they can sometimes seem irrefutable but prove nothing. They're not always deliberate either. They're not always deliberate either. However, the purpose is to identify and unmask the fallacies in an argument. My suggestion to uh, future students is to honestly better understand the fallacies argument. You definitely have to think logically and be willing to be wrong. When I was doing the logical fallacies, I was wrong with some of them. It was like, oh my goodness, I thought I knew what I was doing, but I actually was wrong on some of them. No matter how hard I thought about it, no matter how uh, sure of it I was wrong with some of them. And you have to be willing to be wrong. Um, on some occasions, I didn't want to agree with the fallacy with the type of fallacy that was being presented, but after consulting with my peers in the class, I realized that I wasn't always right. And you have to have that ability to say I'm not always right to uh, really get the gist of hidden or logical fallacies. Sorry. So the problems that I chose, the first one was problem 46. Here it is, and I'm just going to read it because it'll be backwards, but I'm just going to read it. So, problem 46 fallacy says the question, the question or the statement is you must be an atheist. You never go to church on a Sunday morning. My answer to this fallacy is the fallacy being used in this statement is the dicto simpliciter fallacy, which is a hasty generalization. The reason that it is this fallacy is because the person made a broad and sweeping generalization about this person's religious beliefs after only a few occurrences of not attending church. So I said, we can argue that this person may have to work on Sundays or has other obligations that prevents them from going to church. instead of making a hasty generalization that they may be an atheist. So, pretty much in the dicto simpliciter fallacy, you come to a very fast conclusion to something or someone after minimal occurrences or information to back that generalization. My second problem is problem 47 fallacies. And this statement is on a discussion of the Treaty of Versailles in a history class. A student responds, "You said this happened 5 years before Hitler came to power. Why are you so fascinated with Hitler? Are you an anti Semitic?" So the answer that I gave was the fallacy that is being used in this statement is non sequitur. It does not follow. This fallacy states that the conclusion has nothing to do with the premise. If we look at the premise, there is no mention of Hitler, which was about which the statement was about the Treaty of Versailles, which was a treaty that helped end World War One, which had nothing to do with Hitler. So this statement, which has a premise about the ending of a war, has nothing to do with the conclusion, which is suggesting someone likes a person based off of an unrelated statement. So we can argue that the teacher was maybe discussing the Treaty of Versailles because it was a part of World War One, and it could have been a predecessor to a conversation about World War II, which did involve Adolf Hitler. And that is my problem. Thank you.